What I've got in these 3 days. I'm thinking, I know I'm very lucky to have many friends, but I didn't expect that much support. I treasure the support from my family. It was very difficult. Most of them were not political until last 2-3 years, but they stand firmly with me. My friends. I would have to say that those of you who were arrested in Brickfields, you're much more braver than I am. Now, when I call for that press conference, I do not expect myself to be detained. Otherwise, I would hide my computer away, right? But these people, knowing all the way that they're going to be arrested, they yet still go there and say, point a finger to the OTD and say, "Now, how dare you do this to me?" And I think that's they are really good. And of my friends, I think I must mention my special thanks to my counselor, lawyer Diane. Because at the time of my arrest, I managed to make one call through. At the time of my arrest, I got it to admin. And before the police got me out of my home after raiding me and so on, the news that apparently spread around on the web because Hong Xian called me and said, well, I'm now being arrested. We know this. That's why I'm calling you. Where are you? I was shocked, but apparently the news spread so fast, and that was very, very important. And on my second day, when they brought me to the court to extend my detention for remand, I had a fantastic team of lawyers. I was very lucky on the prosecuting, the police side. They sent two superintendents. On my side, I have 7 lawyers. Amil, Latifa, Edmund was not there. Amil, Latifa, they were the main one. Then I had Puspa, Chao Yi, Daniel, detention. I can't remember the last person, but there were 7 of them. They were there, and the police were kind of taken back. They do not expect people to be there. And I knew later on that on that night when I was detained, there were people out there waiting for me, including the former and the current presidents of our council, as well as our elected representatives, and of course, many, many friends. I am really humbled with all the support. In whatever way form, that whether in physical, online, in any way, I think that was great. And I was stunned by the news that my student actually held demonstration on this case for me. They were from private universities. You normally don't find activism in private institutions. They did it. I was told by my colleagues that they wore back in campus. I'm very humble, and as well as by many, many fellow Malaysians whom I may not know. I don't know where you are, but you did a lot of things that was really great.这3天来，我想我最强烈的感受是我想要表达我的感动。我家人本来是不太参与政治，直到是2-3年为止。但是 my lawyers did a very good fight, but the police asked for 4 days. The magistrate gave them a day. Interestingly, they say the day is today, so it's now until 6 p.m. I was in court at 12, and they say the court told the police, you can hold me on. Police can hold me on up to 6 p.m. Without going to court, they could already hold me up to 7:30, 7:40. But the court tell them and say, you need to release him by 6 because that's what I give you by 1 day, which is a very surprising, very interesting court decision. So later on, what happened was that they were not happy. They brought me back. They did not ask me any question. In about 4 hours time, they brought me back to court again and said they want a second, extend my remand. So this time they got in, another magistrate come in, and he granted them 2 days. So that's how I stayed on. But interestingly, the second time, I have only 2 lawyers, Amir and his assistant, I think it was Daniel. But on the other side, the police was so afraid they sent 3 superintendents. Because the police officer who brought me here then said, hey, this is very special, last time I think that Lieutenant Dan, they sent me a chief inspector, but in your case they sent 3 superintendents to make sure that you get stay on for because and当然我觉得一点我要强调的是说，我非常感激我的大学的同僚 ，student actually demonstrating to me. I was very very touched. 我非常感激说，我的学生他们会愿意站出来说，在这件事上表明立场。我更感激的是，那 I can tell you this is not even my read. This is actually from the police. The policeman who has that honor to first handcuff me in my life said this. He said, I didn't know who you are before I came to you. We were the one who made you a hero. I said, exactly that, You shouldn't have given me that chance, get my picture flashed up everywhere in the news and so on. You give me all this. You helped to make one Black Malaysia campaign a big success. The whole point is not about that. The whole point is not really about that because it's actually, I think, what we have gone through in the last 3 days is about Malaysia. What kind of Malaysia that we're going through? And what Malaysias we are talking about? I think what we are facing is 2 Malaysia. Peaceful one and a violent one. So when I mean violent, I do not mean that you need to take up arms to show violence. What I mean is that the violence can be in the form of coercion, a form of threat, that you have to listen to the power of the force. That's what the state stands for. You know my stand, I don't trust it. I think that, a government is the only way that government is different from a mafia is that you have a chance to vote you have a chance to cast your vote and elect a government. Otherwise, the government is as good as the mafia, right? And we talk about Najib's slogan, One Malaysia, People First, Performance Now. All those things were backed up by the state. The state basically tells you that I know what's good for you, I'm going to perform for you, but not taking your command, not dealing with what you want. But I think, if you look at this Malaysia represented by Najib's slogan, it's actually what happened in Perak. It's violent. Because Zamri said this, I have the best interest of people in my heart. Therefore, I can represent Perak people. Therefore, I can order the police go in and drag the speaker out. That's violent. That's violent. That's the one Malaysia, Najib's one Malaysia represent. Now, the Malaysia that we have fought for in the last 3 days is one of peace. We do it in the way of civil disobedience. What is civil disobedience? You go back to Mahatma Gandhi, you go back to Martin Luther King, you go back to the Greek college people, many other examples in other parts of the world. It's about non-violence. It's about a simple power of courage. Courage is not absence of fear. It insists to do the right thing in the presence of fear. Do you think that all of us are so great that shouting in the streets? No. I'm sure that some of us were shaken at some point in time. But sometimes you need to do that. You need to show to people and say, okay, someone needs to do something, and therefore we need to do something. The country needs to move on, some people need to pay some price. That could be a loss of your freedom for a few days, but it happens. The second thing about civil disobedience is a faith in reason and freedom. We believe that not resorting to power, we can evoke the best part of human nature. You challenge the state by depriving its legitimacy. That's what we have been doing in these 3 days. When we laugh just now with all the sharing and experience, that's what we have been going through. We laugh at the police, we laugh at the state, we are telling them to say, violence do not matter in this country.